I'm gonna raise my kid right where they're not gonna ask me about no damn rings.
Rings do
That's
matter
not
though. Like, let's not act like rings don't
Like
matter at all.
here,
they don't. They might matter for your greatness, but to tell you like how good you are, you don't need that. We can sit you in front of some like highlights of Charles Barkley to show you he was a dude. It just it just looks good to have rings. That's like the
It's
package.
different
I
though.
don't like the
That's
bows.
different
like
though.
I don't like the bows.
so, what was it? There
There's
was
a lot of
something
dudes that got rings that don't need rings.
You
like
know what?
There's,
yeah,
there's a lot of dudes that got rings that shouldn't have
Yeah,
rings.
but okay, listen, we're never gonna be talking about Derek Fisher in these conversations though. You know what I mean?
It
Like
doesn't
Derek
matter.
Fisher got mad rings, but Robert Horry got mad rings. But we're not gonna be talking about Matt. We're not gonna talk about Matt or
I mean,
Robert Horry was like Robert
he,
Horry, Derek Fisher. They were quintessential to the team of making it to. No. We're talking about Kobe. We're talking about LeBron. We're talking about Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Like we talking about these guys. Talking about the Scottie Pippins. We're talking about these guys. If you know, very the rings do matter to an extent though. Like they don't matter as much as people make them out to matter, right? Because it's more of a team sport and blah, blah, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, they do matter a little bit though, because the point of the game is to win. Like no matter what,
so
the point of the game is to win. You can be mad at LeBron for not winning every time into the finals, but LeBron got to the finals a lot, especially in a row, and you can't like that adds on to his greatness automatically. There is no ifs ands or buts about it. So if somebody doesn't dethrone LeBron or whatever it is, then that takes away from the legacy. Just like if people couldn't dethrone Michael Jordan, it takes away from the legacy also.
well, okay, so I guess this is relevant since we brought up ring. This was something I read some years ago. Um, because like we talk about nowadays, like people talk about people ring chasing and stuff. But like the thing is, I'm pretty sure like the players are aware of like how their legacy is looked at and how important it is for your legacy to get a ring, right, wrong, or indifferent. And it's what's the I can't remember the scientific term I'm looking for. Basically, how like when somebody knows the criteria by which they're being judged, they change their behavior to better meet that criteria. So when you have players, especially players high level, aware that like they are being judged on rings, we're going to get the stuff like we've seen last couple of years, like super teams and like KD going to Golden State and stuff. And like while I guess we can all agree that like rings aren't the only thing, even though there are plenty of people who will like disagree, despite clearly kind of being a dumb thing, even if we can be like, yeah, it matters to the legacy. That like there is an argument that we or at least like people who pay attention to basketball make it matter more than it should, especially like if you care about like players do like trying to like get a ring the right way, however you want to define
Yeah, all garbage to me.
that. Like let's not pretend like when KD retires, we'll be talking about how like his State rings don't count for real.
Yeah, a hundred
Like
percent. Like,
And we'll take the
granted,
mic
they
away from you
count, but
people on KD's day.
granted they have but they count. Like they count. Obviously, he won.
but they don't count as much as like Jordan's rings do, or
Because
like
they don't. But
Magic's
like for
rings
me, they
do.
don't count because he took a whole way into it. Like you, like it's simple. You took a team to seven games in the playoffs, the Western Conference Finals. You took a game, or you took a team to 7 games, and then the next year you go and join the other team that beat you. That's if you are on the sideline in the rec center and somebody's been beating you all day long, all of a sudden one guy on the team leaves and they go, hey, come on our team. And me personally, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that Cause I'm not yo ho. Like, I mean, you've been dogging me all day long. I'm not gonna all of a sudden go to the old team and be like, all right, I'm on the winning thing now. That's what KD did, and this. So that's all personal for me of why. Like, it's like a competitive nature thing essentially, and I'm just like, nah, man. You know what I mean? I'm just like, that ain't it. And his rings exist, they count. But everybody wants to find an asterisk every year now for a ring. Like, they wanted to put an asterisk on LeBron's ring, whatever, this year, right? Even though, like, it's hard. It was arguably harder this year than it would be otherwise. But they're gonna people are gonna want to put an asterisk on the ring, and he does. But at the end of the day, he did get those rings, and when he's out, if he's out, they wouldn't got those rings. But also, if he's out, the team wouldn't have been looking the same. It would have been more angled around Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, not around KD. So, like, you can also make that argument too. You know what I mean? And when you angle a team around Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, you make it to the championships 3 times. You know what I mean? Like, you still make it to the championship 2 or 3 times. Like, it is what it is. But I just think, like, Kevin Durant, his rings are just weird to me. Like, I don't like. I'm a historian, but I just think there's no situation in basketball of somebody who got rings like him, like in the way he got rings, especially being like and it's different because he's the greatest scorer that we've seen. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't watching when Michael Jordan was playing, you know what I mean? Like, but he's the greatest scorer we've seen. So for a great to do something like that, I'm just like, you were great, dog. like. Act like it, you know what I mean? And he didn't, but he still got rings. Ho. I'm upset now. I'm so upset right now.
I completely agree with everything you said, though. But yeah,
now I'm sorry. Like, that really frustrated me just now. And now I was trying to explain to my kids today why Kevin Durant is a hoe. Like, I was like the kids are like in this 8th and 7th grade. So, like, I started watching basketball in like the 7th, 8th grade. So, like, I know for a fact they weren't, watching basketball or really remembering basketball at least when they were, 4th grade or whatever it is, 5th, 4th grade. And so I'm just like, man, KD, man, he got them rings. I'm like, no. Let's talk about these rings real quick. I had to set them all down on their basketballs and had a real deep discussion about this today. So, like, this is really hitting me close to my heart. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm trying to teach the next generation what being a hoe is all about. KD.
Right. Hey, don't ruin them. Don't ruin Kevin Durant for them babies, bro.
I ain't ruining them.
I happily would. I'm not even gonna pretend.
He got conversation. He ain't gonna front. He gonna ruin. Like, listen, if your legacy, if you don't want your legacy to be ruined by the general population, then don't do hoish things. Like, just don't do it. If you don't do it, then I got nothing to complain about. Like, and let's not get twisted. Too many people and I've talked to people about this. Too many people remember it as Russell Westbrook screwed up that Game 7 against Golden State. Kevin Durant missed a lot of shots. Like, Kevin Durant did not play. He played good, but there was opportune things that happened, opportune situations that happened in that game that Kevin Durant really messed up on, and people disregard that because people love to hate on Russell Westbrook, especially now since leaving. But a lot of people do have like revisionist history about that Game 7. So the way you lead or you don't essentially show up in clutch times against Golden State that game, all of a sudden you go to their team. Like, that makes my skin crawl. That is the most it makes me upset that somebody made an NBA with that kind of competitive mindset. Like, the only way you make it to the NBA with that competitive mindset is you're 6'10", move like you're 5'10", and you shoot like you're 6 foot. Like, that's the only way you make it there. And it bothers me that this soft hoe who got burner accounts. I mean, we ain't talking about that. I know we ain't discussing the burner accounts, but he got burner accounts. Made it that far, man. And I loved Kevin Durant too. I loved Kevin Durant. He was OKC. But since then, he just been, might as well call him Charmin because he's soft.
I'm disappointed in you, bro.
I'm sick, bro. I'm so sick right now. Like, this is